But let's get started. So we'll start off with a quick introductions and overview of who we are. If you see this beautiful picture over here, you might see there's some ships in the background, some hospitals and laboratories towards the front, parking garages, and some houses. Well, that, my friends, is Galveston. Taking Our Best Shot was originally founded in Galveston, Texas, and the campus we have over here is the University of Texas Medical Branch, or UTMB for short. The great thing about UTMB is that we are located on a tropical island, and many members of the faculty, staff, and students banded together in order to form TOBS. Originally, we started TOBS during the COVID pandemic in order to foster evidence-based science communication and promote health literacy through interdisciplinary STEAM-based approaches. We want to make STEAM accessible to all through education. And the great thing about our team is that we have members who are from all sorts of different backgrounds and degrees. For example, we have members who have backgrounds in science and research, those who are practicing public health, becoming future physicians, or already are physicians, civic engagement, and many other backgrounds. No matter what your background or your degree is, Taking Our Best Shot has a place for you. Taking Our Best Shot has three different objectives. One is to disseminate public health knowledge to increase scientific trust and understanding in Texas and beyond. Though we originally started in Galveston, we've since then expanded to different parts of Texas. The great thing about having our virtual connections nowadays is that we're able to click and Zoom or Teams into any part of the world. So we welcome engagement from people from everywhere. Another aspect is being able to engage, educate, enhance, and empower science enthusiasts. We believe that science enthusiasts are of all ages, ranging from elementary school students to high school and college students to adults who are working professionally or raising families, and those who are retired and ready for the next adventure. And third, we strive to improve community health and well-being by promoting the uptake of public health practices. Over here, we have four beautiful triangles showing an overview of initiatives taking place at Taking Our Best Shot. One is infographic challenges. Another are the community and health fairs. Third is TOPS at STEAM Paths, in which we engage students talking about how to educate themselves into STEAM-related careers or pathways. And fourth, which is this orange box over here, is TOPS at Health Conversations. So everyone, it's time to buckle on your seatbelts or fasten your airplane tickets or otherwise get ready to sail down to the beautiful city of, drum roll please, Texas City. So Texas City has a majestic name, and it's actually home to over 50,000 residents. Texas City is also the third leading port by tonnage in Texas. The city was founded over 100 years ago, and one of the main landmarks and claim to fame is the fact that the world's largest man-made fishing pier, aka the Texas City Dike, was constructed here. Though it was originally constructed to help for the port, it turned out that it has saved the city from destruction several times. Nowadays, Texas City is situated in Galveston County as part of the Greater Houston metropolitan area, and literally at the heart of the city is the Moore Memorial Public Library. This is located nearby major civic centers such as the Convention Center. So if you have an opportunity to go to a convention in Texas City, definitely check it out. There's also the City Hall, the park, the water slide, high school and middle school, and of course, the Texas City Football Stadium right nearby. And now I'll turn it over to Vivian.
So, Taking Our Best Shot at Health Conversations was established in partnership with Moore Memorial Public Library, specifically with the incredible Assistant Director Jessica Matos. And in one sentence, Taking Our Best Shot at Health Conversations is a seminar series that features speakers from the health, research, and medical fields. And through this, we emphasize this free and accessible education because it's at a library. All of our speakers are kindly donating their time and energy towards educating the public. And we also provide local residents with valuable free health information through infographics. And we also provide free lunch. And so in this way, we're also able to support the economic development of the city as well. And so through our health conversations, we hope to foster communication skills in students and rising professionals as they interface with the public and share their knowledge about health in order to improve the health of our community. So we have a variety of topics that our presenters have given presentations on. Our first one was on the opioid crisis, and specifically how to give naloxone to those who may be suffering from an overdose. Our most recent topic was on food safety, and this was actually led by a Texas City high school student. And as we can see, there's a variety of topics that both the community wants to learn about and also that the students want to share about. There are a lot of comments that we've been so lucky to receive, and these are just a few snippets of how we hope Taking Our Best Shot has impacted the community. By sharing this information, we've been able to spark conversations among high schoolers. Those who are attending our health conversations are continuing to engage. For example, they're asking the librarians, when is our next health conversation? When can we learn more about X, Y, and Z topic? And we were also very fortunate to be recognized and really honored to be recognized by the city of Texas City this past March. And as they said, we are helping to contribute to promoting health literacy in the community. And so we have also learned a lot as we have formed Taking Our Best Shot at Health Conversations. And one of the biggest takeaways is that libraries are awesome. We've known that they're awesome ever since we were young. Our family would always go to libraries. We were just at a library this past weekend. And I think each time we go, we're reminded that they're centers for free and accessible learning with all the books, computers, DVDs, CDs, anything you can find in a library. It's free and accessible. And we really appreciate that. In addition, building partnerships together with other organizations is key. I think we've been really fortunate to be partnered with Moore Memorial Public Library and Jessica. And so in this way, we brought our own unique perspectives into the mix in order to form this Taking Our Best Shot at Health Conversations. And so most importantly, collaborating with libraries and librarians and allows us to promote health through open education. In this way, we can provide information in an engaging manner. It's free and it's accessible, and anyone and everyone is welcome to our health conversations. Some further thoughts we had as well is that the Taking Our Best Shots at Health Conversations are designed to be adaptable to different settings. So we are willing to go wherever we're needed. So we started in libraries. We're also very open to continuing in other libraries or also in other spaces where we can gather together and just talk. In addition, like we mentioned earlier, we're giving opportunities for students and young professionals to learn how to communicate with members of the public and those who are bringing their unique stories and backgrounds in relation to health, especially. And in this way, they can become better providers of care for our community as well. And so now I turn it back over to my brother to talk about our next steps.
Again, one of the highlights of being part of the Taking Our Best Shot initiative is the opportunity to connect with audience members dedicated to strengthening our shared world. We have an incredible community of people out there working in various nonprofits, government agencies, and other organizations. And together, we can unite to provide different ways for how we can make the world better through education and other paths. Like my sister highlighted, our goal is to expand the program to other libraries and environments, and we're very open to new ideas and expanding the team as well. And of course, we want to say a huge thank you to our audience who has been extremely supportive, and we're really grateful to have the opportunity to interact with each and every one during our health conversations and other activities. And now we just want to give a special thanks to a lot of different organizations around the community who have been very supportive of us. And of course, to our families, friends, teachers, educators, advisors, mentors, audience, and community out there. We want to just say thank you to everyone who has been involved, whether as a team member or a speaker or partner, or as a supporter of the whole initiative. So again, thank you so much, and we're ready to join us to taking our best shot. Please use your Instagram or Facebook to sign up and follow our social media accounts or email us anytime at the Gmail address listed here. Thank you.
Thank you for that informative presentation. And I loved it. I'm a librarian, and I loved it that you actually worked and collaborate with the libraries. That's really exciting because you know that brings up a whole new group of people that you never even thought about getting involved in your talks. We'll move on next to Dr. Moreland.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Can you hear us and see us okay? We hope so. We're about to share our screen here.
Yes, we can hear you, Dr. Moreland.
Well, lovely. And please call me Clark.
Okay, Clark, it is.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So thank you and good morning, everyone. On behalf of my colleague, Dr. Mohammad Riza, I call him doctor because he just earned his doctorate a couple of months ago. So congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
We offer you greetings from West Texas and everyone here at the University of Texas Permian Basin. We are a regional comprehensive HSI enrolling about 7,000 students. We are the smallest institution in UT system. And today we'd like to share with you some results from a survey which revealed why faculty here at UT Permian Basin have proven somewhat resistant to adopting OERs. And then we'd like to share an analogy that we've developed for how a Slinky works to describe this strategy that we're developing to patiently engage faculty with open resources and embrace the tension of faculty resistance. So first, allow us to share a little bit of background about how we developed this strategy. Prior to the pandemic, our OER efforts at UTPB were, to say the least, a little disorganized. They were mainly driven by sporadic grants from our Office of Academic Affairs. I wrote my first OER in 2016 as a member of the English department here. And that led me to be named as a colleague to the UT System Affordable Learning Accelerator Task Force, where I met a few people in the room today. Hi, guys. That was really the first time that I was truly exposed to the world of OER, and it quickly became apparent to me how behind the times we were at UTPB on OERs. One reason we had fallen behind was we were going through a leadership transition at that moment in our university library, and as a result, we didn't have a lot of institutional commitment to developing OERs. We weren't on the same page. But after participating with colleagues at the ALA task force in Austin, I kind of just assumed that it was inevitable. UTPB would be swept up in the momentum of other Texas institutions, which were also rapidly incentivizing OER adoption and adaptation. Well, I discovered how wrong I was, but I, at the same time, was developing our CTL here on campus in the spring of 2020. Yeah, believe it or not, the spring of 2020, right? The Heimermann Center for Engaged Teaching, which is where we are today. And when I was developing the center, I found a partner, finally, in OER work from the Dunnigan Library here on campus, my friend, Dr. Riza, and I'll let him share a little bit about how we began to make slow and steady progress towards increasing OER visibility and awareness on our campus.
Thank you, Clark.
Go ahead.
Yes, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, the University of Texas Permian Basin Dunnigan Library, we took proactive steps to promote the use of open educational resources, and our OER activities mainly focused on adopting or creating open educational resources as well as zero-cost resources. The goal was to help students save on cost using this resource instead of regular textbook. And as the library liaison, we start working with the faculty advocates to speed up the implementation of OER across the University of Texas Permian Basin. We also aim to increase awareness and uses of OER among faculty members in the various subject disciplines. Still, I remember, that after COVID-19, in the year of 2021, the OER librarian from the 8 institution in the UT system, we created OER practitioner groups. These groups typically meet every 6 weeks to share idea about recent OER activities. And we, as a team, OER team in UTPB, we actively participate in this OER practitioner group meeting, which have helped us improve our knowledge and practice of OER implementation across institutions, including the University of Texas Permian Basin. Another one thing, post-COVID-19, the UTPB Dunagon Library and the UTPB Heimerman Center for English Teaching, Clark is the director, took the initiative to organize a series of workshops. These workshops were designed to provide essential information about open educational resources. One thing very important, the UTPB library team remains committed to providing ongoing support to faculty in evaluating OER resources for their classes. Finally, last year, we used a matrix for the fall and the spring for academic year 2022-23 and the fall only academic year 2023 and 24 to estimate OER savings in UTPB. So we utilize Spark, SPARC. They are a new method for estimating OER savings. And according to this new method for estimating, we calculate our OER savings, which is in academic year 2023-23, fall and spring, UTPB saved $609,958. Only data was available for the academic year 2023 and 24 fall, and the estimated saving cost was $344,622. If we compare the fall 2022 and the fall 2023, we observed a slight increase in OER savings with a rise of 2.71%.
Examples.
Yes. So some of the example of OER course adapted at UTPB, including biology, the concept of the biology, introductory business statistics, the American YAP, accounting principles, university physics, introduction to sociology, Texas government, and most important, UTPB SAFE grant created zero-cost reading and writing courses. Another significant achievement was the adoption of the first-year seminar course using the OER textbook. And my friend Clark will provide further details about this.
Thanks, Mohammed. So yeah, as you can see, 2022 and 23 were an important turning point for our university and OERs. And we attended a summer retreat with our colleagues at UT System, giving us a chance to learn from OER leaders like our friend, Dr. Rebecca Karoff. And then we hosted an OER Champion Summit on our campus with Dr. Karoff as our guest on the line, which brought together some of our early adopters of OER and some of our innovators for open resources, including one of our big breakthroughs this year was getting all of our first-year seminar courses now have an open resource college success. And that's a big breakthrough for us, not only because we have dozens of faculty across disciplines who are teaching first-year seminar, but also it exposes every single student who's a first-year student here at UTPB to an open resource. So at the summit, we heard a few of our faculty say, gosh, we didn't even know what an OER is, but we think we're using one. And that led Mohammed and I to create an instrument, a survey, which we facilitated through our Faculty Senate Faculty Affairs Committee to distribute to all of our faculty just to kind of get a landscape of, do we know what OERs are? And as kind of an afterthought, we thought to ask, would you like more interest, or are you more interested in learning more about open resources? I have to admit, that was an afterthought of a question, but then we reviewed the results and we were shocked to see that 33% of our faculty said, no, we don't want to learn anything about open resources. And that led us to dig deeper in some of these root causes of what are the reasons for faculty resistance to OER. And I bet many of the librarians and colleagues in the room are familiar with some of these reasons. They talked about thinking of OER as a cheap alternative, and lacking scholarly peer review. They talked about the frustration with not finding resources in their specialized upper level, graduate level courses, the comparative dearth of homework platforms, right? Their desire to have resources in print. So some of these are reasonable concerns, and some of them we got to address one-on-one with faculty and maybe dispel some myths. But there were also institutional constraints here at UTPB that we realized. We don't have a stipend program to incentivize OER adoption. And there's an atmosphere of mistrust here that has led some faculty to worry that our administration will mandate open resources for all faculty, and they're concerned about that. And so to help explain our strategy as we conclude to responding to this, we'd like to show you a very brief clip of how a Slinky works. Okay, if you've ever seen this before, and take a look at it here.
If you drop a Slinky dangling under its own weight, the bottom won't start falling until the whole Slinky has collapsed. This is because each coil is stretched to support the weight of everything beneath it. So in order for one coil to fall, it needs the coil above it to collapse, and so on all the way up to the top. It's like a row of dominoes where the tension released at the top cascades down the Slinky, and this takes some time.
Okay, so here's what we hear in this discussion of how a Slinky works. Each coil is stretched to support the weight of everything beneath it. In order for one coil to fall, it needs the coil above it to collapse, and it takes time. So we therefore would like to suggest that it is better for those of us who are OER practitioners and advocates to begin looking beyond the early adopters on our campus to make concerted and patient efforts to identify root causes of faculty resistance and tension. And that means asking some hard questions, friends, not only about OERs themselves, but also about the institutional culture that we live in, about how faculty and librarian labor is counted and sometimes exploited. Looking at OERs not only in terms of cost savings, but also their impact on student success and on tenure and promotion. And we've begun having conversations with colleagues on tenure and promotion committees on faculty senate. And instead of just reacting defensively, which we sometimes do, right? Because we are advocates for OER, we are also learning how to hear out and validate faculty concerns when they're raised. We are willing to listen to faculty who are what we call the cracked door, right? They're not completely open to open yet, but they're thinking about it. And we are advocating for them to encourage them to keep asking those questions. And finally, we have been working intently to amplify and include voices of early career and non-tenured faculty who we suspect are more likely to adopt OERs when given the chance for reasons we can perhaps discuss later. In short, we believe that, like a Slinky, we have to embrace the tension. We have to go down before we can go up. Reminded of what Dr. King says in Stride Towards Freedom, true peace is not the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. And so as OER practitioners and advocates, by pulling on the coils of OER resistance and actually having these conversations, we can bring up subjects and we can bring down the barriers to student success and justice. Thank you.
And thank you again, Clark and Dr. Reza, for that wonderful presentation. We're going to move on to our next presentation. And again, guys, we're going to have time in the end where we do the actual lightning talk, where everybody will get a chance to ask questions. So that's the opportunity that you can unmute your mic and be able to talk with our speakers.
Hi, everybody. I will go ahead and share my screen once I get everything sorted. Okay, here we go. Share screen 2, very exciting stuff. Okay. Howdy, y'all. Again, my name's Isabel. I'm the OER librarian here at Texas State University. If you've been to San Marcos between San Antonio and Austin, this is Old Main, one of the iconic buildings on campus. And today I'm talking about the Texas Core to Open referential databases that I've made. Essentially, I was presented with a problem of identifying some OER for core courses at our institution, which led down a rabbit hole of a variety of other questions and things that I needed to consider. To begin, there were a variety of things like what core classes are even offered, where are they most updated, how do I make sure that that information is transferable, all that kind of stuff. This is just a static screenshot of the actual page, so I'm going to take us to the database itself. So you can see this is a live website that I will also put in the chat. Here we go. So everybody can follow along and play with the resource as they're listening to me. So essentially what I did was take all of our core classes and find their TCCNS number. The TCCNS number is a Texas Common Course Numbering System, which allows Texas state institutions to transfer credit. So essentially, if you're a community college student, or if you're going from a public to a private, you can take your credit and transfer it to that institution. That's what these numbers allow us to do. From those numbers, I also include, we'll take a look here, some information about their core component areas. So you can see that there are 9 component areas. And if you've been to a Texas institution recently, they'll look a little familiar, but you're required to have a certain number of credit hours in each of these component areas. And they satisfy different kinds of critical skills. So critical thinking, communication, things like that. So these code areas are also tied to the rubrics over here. And you can see a list of all of the rubrics and their component areas. This is built partially for user navigability so that people can understand what information they're being presented with, but also because I then mapped it to Texas State's institutional specific course names and rubrics. So here is the example of the most important part of the database right now. You can see the course name of our Texas State course, what rubric it falls under, the course number, and what TCCNS number it's tied to. So when we look for OER for College Writing 2, there is a filtered view of about 20, 25, 30 OER or affordable or fair use material that we can look at to start building that course with an individual faculty member. This eases that onboarding bridge to facilitate those conversations where faculty are incredibly interested, or they might have that cracked door, a call back to our previous presenters, of the content, but they aren't really sure how to navigate it, or they're not sure if they have the time, or they really want that email or this list, but they don't necessarily have time this semester or even over the summer, but they have a resource that's continuously being added to facilitate the conversations that they want to have with their students, as well as with that course transformation. And since this is tied to its TCCNS number right here, they don't have to worry if they do move or their spouse moves and they get a new job, but they're still in Texas, they can still use all of this content. The other nice thing is that the TCCNS number hypothetically allows us in the future, when this project gets a little bit bigger, to transfer the same kinds of systems that we see in like the community college system in California. I was trying to remember the acronym, to Texas. So they have a whole bunch of OER that's already curated for their core courses, but what rubric are they using? And so we can have a better idea of what is transferable material-wise and what isn't going forward. But that is the basic overview. This also came out of a previous project I was working on, trying to find all the places to search for OER, because that can be a challenge as well. And that is referenced in its little origin story right here in this open resources catalog. But I know we have a lot of people to talk to, and I would love to hear your questions here in a little bit.
Thank you so much. And yes, Isabel, we will have time to have that lightning talks. The last one on our list is Megan. And Megan, I'm going to go ahead and make sure you got screen sharing so we can see your presentation. Thank you, Megan.
Awesome, perfect. Give me 1 second. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
No, not yet, Megan. We can't see your
Oh.
screen yet.
1 moment. Try this again. Okay, how about now?
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. Like I said earlier, my name is Megan Morris, and I am the Digital Initiatives Librarian here at Texas Wesleyan University. That's kind of like a $1 million title for a $5 concept, as I like to say, which means I just handle our digital institutional repository. But with that also comes working with our collections management librarian on OER initiatives on campus. So today, I'm here to talk a little bit with you guys about a student textbook cost survey we launched last year to kind of coincide with Open Education Week, and share with you, why we decided to do the survey, what departments on campus we collaborated with, and how we plan to use those results for future OER initiatives on campus. So before we kind of settled on a survey, we wanted to do something student oriented for a couple of different reasons. Most of our previous endeavors were focused on faculty. We had like an OER 101 workshop or adopt versus adapt. And faculty buy-in is obviously important. They're the ones that are going to be using that OER in their courses, but OER benefits our students, and it's important to get their feedback on their textbook cost and kind of gauge their knowledge of what OER is. We did know that some faculty were already using OER in their courses, but we didn't have a comprehensive list of who was and who wasn't. So we also wanted to use this as an opportunity to find a way to see, which disciplines on campus had an opportunity for OER support. And so kind of with these 4 whys in mind, we decided to create a plan. And we ended up settling on a short survey. Like I said, we released it on Open Education Week in March alongside another OER PR campaign that we were doing called Textbook Heroes, where we showcased faculty who were already using OER and listing how much money they were saving their students. The survey that we did was closed at the end of March, and we kind of settled on, depending on the survey results and how many students were interested in learning more about OER or wanted to elaborate more on their survey answers, that we would do a follow-up. Luckily, that did happen, so we ended up doing a follow-up on April 23rd. The survey itself was created in LibWizard, which is one of the softwares we use through SpringShare. And we also set up a table in our university center where students could either take the survey online. During that tabling event, we grabbed a couple of laptops from the library's laptop kiosk, so students could either do it online, or we also had a paper version as well. One of the nice things kind of about the University Center tabling event is it also allowed us to get to know the students and dig a little bit deeper into their textbook costs outside of the general questions that are on the survey. The April follow-up event that we had was held on the first floor of the library. And then even though our collections management librarian Ariel and myself were the ones that were reviewing the surveys and facilitating the in-person events, we did have help from other librarians and departments on campus. One of the things that I always am really passionate about is, OER is not just a one department type of thing. In order for it to kind of be successful on your campus, it needs to be integrated into your campus's culture, which requires, collaboration with other departments. So some of the departments that we ended up working with, because we wanted to make sure that even if the students weren't able to come to the in-person events, that they still had an opportunity to take that survey, we partnered with our academic advising and student success department. So what they did is they sent that survey out to the students via our student relationship management software, which is EAB Navigate. These students were sent an announcement via email, and then that provided a link to the survey. Our library liaisons also share the survey with teaching faculty, so those faculty could also share it with their students. So, sorry. Like I said, survey was from March 4th to March 28th, and here are some of the survey results. This photo here is from our follow-up event on April 23rd. It is a picture of our collections management librarian, Ariel, with our little sign that we had out. So for the survey results, total participants that we had were 82. 20 of those alone were just from that tabling event in our university center. As I mentioned, it was from March 4th to March 28th that the survey was open for students. There were 12 questions on the survey, but only seven of them were required. And of those 82 total participants, 21 of them were interested in learning more information about OER, what it can do for them as a student, and wanted to elaborate more on their answers. So here's another kind of general information that we pulled for data from the survey. This is just the list of the percentages of the participants by major. Most of the participants were either business majors or they were undecided. Following that was going to be the kinesiology and exercise science, as well as education. Some additional results that we got from the survey is that 52.6% of the participants of that survey had purchased 3 or more required textbooks or course materials, because we didn't just want to limit it to textbooks. We included, homework platforms and things like that. Purchased 3 or more for spring 2023. And another thing with the survey, we asked the students specifically about that particular semester, because Open Education Week was March 4th through 8th, and we started in January. That kind of information of how much money that they had to spend on their textbooks was a little bit more fresher in their mind for that semester versus what they probably had to do in the fall of 2022. So that's why we specifically chose for spring 2023. 15.8% of participants did not purchase any required materials for spring 2023. Some of the kind of comments that we received was that participants who had classes that didn't require a textbook, they stated that they had less stress because of the financial burden, and the lectures were far more engaging for them. They weren't relegated to just reading a chapter and then having to take notes. It felt more of a discussion within the lecture in their course. And then 68 out of 82 participants stated that it would be beneficial for them to know the cost of course materials during registration. So that's kind of the thing. And, within a course catalog, having that little marker that's like a Z course of this is a 0 cost course. 68%, or no, it's not 68%, 68 out of 82 of those participants thought that would be beneficial for them. So those are all the results. And so, what we decided to kind of do with this information is, first, we shared it with faculty. We have a Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, which is a faculty resource here on campus. They always do a summer institute for professional development. The theme for their summer institute this past summer was AI, of course, because that's another big topic, and OER. So during that time, we had an OER panel where we had professors who were already engaged in OER, already implementing it in their course, have a panel with other faculty and answer questions about, the difficulty of implementing OER. Why should someone implement OER? We felt that it was, we as librarians, we love to evangelize for OER because we love free things. But we felt that the faculty sharing their concerns with other colleagues who were already implementing OER felt like it would hit a little bit different of, yes, it's hard, but it's worth it. And this is why. So one of the things, like I said, is we shared it with that OER panel. Additionally, we also intended to use some of this data for additional grant funding. Right now, we have received some OER grant funding, and we have awarded some grants to faculty. We are actually at the end of our second cohort for our mini grants, but after that, we do not have any more stipends or grant funding to provide to faculty for them to implement OER. So we wanted to use some of this data as well to illustrate that there is a desire for OER on campus from the students, and that the student experience of classes already using OER is beneficial to them. This also showed my colleague and myself to see which disciplines could benefit more from OER support on our campus. Faculty, they get lots of emails every day, so us reaching out to them, being like, hey, are you using OER? Sometimes that just kind of gets lost in the inbox. So seeing what subjects have more of an opportunity, we can then gear our focus towards that particular discipline, start talking to those faculty members of, why aren't you using OER? What are, your fears about it and stuff like that. We also just don't anticipate this to be our last student survey. So we also wanted to utilize the feedback that we got from both the students as well as faculty about the survey to build another future survey. So thank you guys for listening to me. And I appreciated hearing all the other good information from all the other presenters today.
Let's go ahead and give a thumbs up to all of our presenters that we had. We had four excellent presenters that looked at OER in different ranges and how to even look at saving money like librarians do. Yes, we love to figure out to save money and be able to even support all of our patrons in our libraries. We're going to now open it up. You can undo your video and your mic, and let's look at some questions we could ask any of our speakers. We've got about 10 so minutes that you could come in and ask some questions. And I'll even start the ball rolling and start out with Megan and ask Megan, as she looked at the aspects of those textbooks, what could be a future endeavor to really make that happen, Megan? Because I know here on our campus, our textbooks can go up to $200 and $300 for students, and it can be very cost effective if they're also having to buy other things dealing with that class that they need. So what are your suggestions dealing also with the publishers that also are looking to gain money from those textbooks that students are getting?
Got you. So one of the things, we love to evangelize, we love things to be free for OER, but sometimes that is a big leap for some of the faculty members, especially if they're our business department and our sciences, they use a lot of those homework platforms. So one of the things that we've also been looking into is previously the library did not purchase textbooks, and we're not making a habit of purchasing all the textbooks and updating every edition. But for the more expensive ones, especially for the business ones, we have looked into purchasing those textbooks, just purchasing like a textbook that can be put on reserve in the library so the students can check that out. We've also talked to some professors about some lower cost homework platforms. It's really kind of, for us, the ones that are kind of at that kind of closed door or kind of ajar door, is that they like the homework platforms because it's easy for them to implement that stuff and it's already connected to our learning management system. So trying to find some lower cost options for that, or providing the textbooks for the students as well, is another thing that we're looking at. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you sure
Okay.
did. And there's somebody that put in the chat a question, Megan, about would you mind sharing some of the questions you asked the students? Because I would love to know what were some of those questions sparking about their textbooks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to share. And one of the things that some faculty members brought up when we brought it to the OER panel is I mentioned 15.6% of those students did not purchase a book for their spring 2023 2023 semester. So one of the things that a faculty member brought up was like, well, why? Is it because someone's already implementing OER, or is it because they just didn't want to purchase it for the cost? So that was another thing kind of towards changing future surveys. But I would be happy to share those survey questions with y'all. Give me one moment, I'll post it in the chat.
Hi, Megan, it's Mohammed. Your survey, one thing I would like very interesting, some of the discipline. Can you tell me, which department or which discipline they are using OER a lot? Just, curious.
Yeah. So the ones that are using it a lot are going to be our kind of humanities. So English, history. Yes. It's a lot easier for OER to be transferred to like those humanities and find those free open resources. We've talked to some of our chemistry and biology professors, and they kind of struggle with the OER because they're trying to find something that's good. And not only that, but is updated, frequently, right? Grammar, things like that, they don't necessarily change all the time, but science is constantly changing. Another one that is a humanities, but still kind of struggles is our mass communications and sports communication, because that is something that is also constantly changing as, social media is evolving, AI, things like that. So those are some of the ones that those are the ones that kind of struggle with OER, but history, art, English, those are the ones that have been like really successful with OER.
Thank you. Now we have a question for Isabel. Have faculty at your university been utilizing the Texas Core to Open, and have they been collaborating with you on what resources they would like to see in it?
It's a fantastic question, and I'm also typing out my answer in the chat. So yes and no. I started this project and finalized it in May, so 6-ish, well, not even 6 months ago. But a lot of the content that is in each of those core course slots is from information on like HB 2504 websites. So the required undergraduate syllabus reporting. So people who are already using OER, so it's been vetted by those faculty members, as well as LibGuides at Texas State and other institutions. So like those OER by college guides, pulling that information in the same way. And I've been sharing it with faculty as I encounter them. But most of my intention is to have this as an example so we can start conversations with those faculty around, oh, that's awesome. I would love to do that for my course. I would love to be able to be part of that curation process because I think that is one way that we can have those conversations around peer review and labor and things like that at a more individual level while they can see the bigger picture at the same time.
Thank you. Looks like we could have time for one more question. If somebody wants to just unmute their mic and just ask a question to one of our presenters. Okay. I guess nobody has any other questions they would like to ask. Thank you again for all of our presenters. Thank you to everybody to just tapping in and going through all the beautiful sessions we have today lined up in Open Texas, in our conference. Please make sure to do the evaluations, and please make sure to go to your next session. I'm going to go ahead and end this section. Please note that this will also be recorded. So you will have a recording of this session.